Hi, fellow traders. In this video, I'm going to recap my one trade from the day and plus kind of share with you how I come up with my nightly watch list. I don't get one every night because, I don't get tickers that hit it every night, but, every now and then I do. And in a nutshell, what I'm looking for is, like, for example, on CPHD, let's go to the daily chart. What I'm looking for is a ticker that's either making a 52-week low or a 52-week high. And I look for a gap down if it's making a low, and then a gap up if it's making a high. So when I looked at this last night, now of course I've got some other parameters that stocks have to meet before I take a look at them. But as far as pattern wise, I'm looking for a 52-week low with a gap down. And I'm also looking for a higher than normal volume coming in. And you can see this one, volume built in here. And on a gap down day, it over double that volume. And it's probably quadruple the average daily volume. This is what I'm looking for. This is something that really interests me. I'm looking at the night before. And I'm trying to determine, where am I going to take it? Am I going long with it, or am I going short with it? But I'll go back and look 3 years, to see if there's any levels, how far back. And sure enough, this one bounced off. I've got this level here, and then I've got this level here. And this is from like 2013. But that's where that came down and bounced off of. So, this is real interesting to me. Looking at that chart last night, that's what I saw. So my plan this morning was, if it was going to lose this, I had a nice little window down for a decent profit to bounce off the next, the other support. Or if it tried to, reverse, it's clear blue sky. There's nothing there. So I was real excited about that one. Let's take another look at, okay, HTWR was another one. Okay, I looked at it. This is what it looked like last night. Oh, sorry, let me go to the daily chart. All right, this is what it looked like last night. Now this really got me. See the gap down. This was the gap down day. It had a whole lot of volume, but it didn't really have a, it had like a $2.50 range or something like that. But then this was the next day. Of course, it was on lower volume. This one traded over 6. This one was right at 2. But it was still higher than this day, which was a big sell-off, or any of these other days. So I was still interested, and I was looking for it to recover the gap. So these two I was really excited about. I did find, RDUS and SRPT. I don't think RDUS was a gap down. It was just a big sell-off. But, I had these four on watch, and I think when I got in the morning and chat, I kind of alerted these as the tickers that I looked at the night before and I was interested in today. But what happened, and you can see, this one was up 6.7%, 15.6. This one was up 19.4. I mean, big movers. But what happened? No volume. I could not get in these trades at all. Look at this. These are tall bars, but this is 26,000, 15,000, 14. I mean, just no volume. The spreads were wicked. I couldn't get in these trades. These were beautiful, setups that a month ago will pay off big. But, being, the level of trader that I am, there was just no way for me to get in this. CPHD was the same, just no volume. And by the time it got, some decent volume, it was too late. I missed the move. It was too far for me to even find a setup to trade. So I was really disappointed in these two, but just wanted to share with you, one of the other strategies that I use. Don't use it often, but every now and then you'll see me, with one. I think I've got one tomorrow that I'm looking at. Hadn't really vetted it yet. But if it's something that I'm interested in, I'll alert it tomorrow. But with the volume the way it is, it's just no way, um, any of these setups I have are going to work. It's got to have volume coming back. Now the trade I took today was on Facebook. It was a VWAP fade. And I think, Mike brought it to our attention, earlier, and I started looking at it. I was like, yeah, this is something that I'd like to trade. So, I got in, once being a small account, you have to wait for confirmation. It's very hard to be consistent and consistently grow your account when you're a small trader and you're trading like somebody that has, a large account. Now, I'm sure, a lot of these other guys, they have maybe 100 times more money that they're trading with than me. So they can anticipate the breakdown, or they can get in right here under the 9 and anticipate the fade of the VWAP. But with me, I can't do that. I can't risk that. I have to have a solid setup and, a solid risk. Now, my risk is $100, and how do I get that number? It's 2% of what I start each month with. 2% of $5,000 is $100. That's all I'm risking, is 2% of my account. Now, even though it goes up throughout the month, I still keep my risk on my base account size, what I started the month with. I don't adjust my risk. So when I get in a trade, it has to make sense. So I'm not going to get in a trade so far below the VWAP that I can't adjust my position size for a close above the VWAP. Say I get in this say I take 1,000 shares, which I'll never will, but say I take 1,000 shares here. I can't be 20 cents away from VWAP when I enter, because that's well over my $100 loss. I can't, it doesn't make sense. So if I want to enter 20 cents below VWAP, I have to adjust my position size so that I give it, at least 20 cents room. I want to give it at least 10 cents over VWAP, so if a candle went up and closed above it, I could still get out. I can't just wait. If it pops up over VWAP, get out. That's what I used to do. But now, I wanted to confirm that that's the move it wants to make, so I'll get out. But I'll adjust my position size based on my entry and, my how far, I want to set my stop. So in this case, I got in the trade, it went down, but look how far the 9 is away from it. That's not a logical stop. Here it is. I've got 50 cents profit on the move. The 9 is like 30 cents away. I'm not going to give up 30, 35 cents, just to sit here and hold it to see if it's going to come back. So, being in a small position size, I'm in 250 shares. I had to revert back to the first risk management strategy I learned. The first thing, probably one of the first things I learned from Ross when I came into the room was you exit when you have a candle make a new high relative to the previous one. So when this candle here made a new high, that's when I took profits because I knew that if it came back up and it tested the VWAP, I'm going to get short again. And that's what I was looking for, but it never did happen. That move never confirmed, so I never got back in. One thing about when you're trading with a small account, you have to wait for moves to confirm because you want the best risk versus reward. And this works probably 80% of the time. Well, it probably is not going to work 80% now with the as low a volume the market has. But even during the summertime, 80% of the time, when I wait for confirmation, I get to move down. Now, sometimes it may not be as strong. It may not get to my target because on here, my target was the lower band on the VWAP. You can see it never really made it down there. But when I saw that it came down and I saw the 9 still hanging around up here, I knew this thing wasn't going to go much further. You know, that's one of the telltale signs. That's what I look for. You know, to me, this tells me how strong, you know, this ticker is. You know, even though it's lagging a little bit, I can still get a good indication, you know, with it being this far away, that this thing is probably going to turn around. So, you know, that's why I did a little bit different exit strategy today, you know, versus waiting for it to close above the 9, because you see how much room there was and how much profit I would have, you know, had to give up. So that was my one trade today. It was still decent. Um, Still had a decent week. You know, I made my goal for the week. So, you know, tomorrow I'm not forced to have to make a trade. I can just sit back and wait. And if I get a solid setup, you know, I will. You know, I'll go ahead and take it. But that's about all for now. Um, as always, if you have any questions or anything, you can hit me up in chat or send me an email. But always enjoy answering questions, and it actually helps me look back at my trade and sometimes look at it from a different point of view. But until next time, everybody have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow in chat.